Let me tell you a very dark and strange story from the early 1800s. At that time, a man named Bill Quick lived in a small wooden cabin near the Scioto River in Ohio. He lived there with his father and made his living by hunting animals and trapping in the woods. Life was rough in those days, and there was a lot of fighting happening between settlers and Native American tribes in that area. One day, Bill went deep into the forest to hunt. He stayed out most of the day. When he finally returned home in the evening, he noticed something was wrong immediately. The cabin door was broken, and everything inside was scattered everywhere. When he stepped inside, he saw something that filled him with rage. His father was lying on the floor in a pool of blood. Bill believed a group of Indians had attacked the cabin and killed him. Bill was so angry and heartbroken that he swore revenge right there in that moment. From that day on, he started a one-man war in the woods. Bill began hunting Indians the same way he hunted animals. He would hide behind trees and quietly watch them from the shadows. When they least expected it, he would throw a knife or fire his rifle. Sometimes he would attack them while they slept. Bill showed no mercy at all. But the most horrifying thing was what he did after killing them. Bill cut off their heads and carried them back to his cabin. Inside the cabin, he built shelves along the walls and placed the severed heads there like trophies. Year after year, his terrible collection grew bigger and bigger. After many years, Bill had collected 99 heads. Every time he looked at them, he would say the same thing to himself. Just one more head, and my revenge will be complete. But over time, the Indians learned about the strange and dangerous man hunting them in the woods. Many of them left the area or stayed far away. Bill searched everywhere, but he could never find the 100th victim. Then one day, he became very sick. As he lay dying in his bed, he called his son Tom to come close. Bill pointed to the terrible rows of heads on the wall and said in a weak voice, "Tom, you must finish what I started. Bring me the 100th head. If you fail, I will come back to haunt you." Soon after saying those words, Bill Quick died. Tom promised his father he would try, but Tom was nothing like his father. He hated violence, and he was not a good hunter at all. In fact, he could barely shoot straight. Days turned into weeks. Weeks turned into months. Every night, Tom sat in the cabin staring at the shelves full of severed heads. The empty space for the 100th head haunted him. He felt guilty for breaking his promise to his father. Then one night, something terrifying happened. Tom was sitting in the cabin when he suddenly heard strange noises. When he looked at the shelves, he saw the severed heads starting to move. Their eyes opened, their mouths began chattering, and their teeth clacked together. Some of them even started shrieking and making horrible sounds. Tom screamed and ran out of the cabin in terror. He told people in town what he had seen, but nobody believed him. They thought he was losing his mind. But the fear and guilt kept growing inside him. One day, Tom heard that a small group of Indians had been seen near the area. Thinking this might be his only chance to keep his promise, he grabbed his rifle and went back to the cabin. Not long after that, a neighbor heard a single gunshot coming from the direction of Tom's house. The neighbor walked over to check what happened. The cabin was quiet. The door was closed. He knocked, but no one answered. So he slowly opened the door and stepped inside. When he looked at the wall, he froze in horror. The shelves were still filled with all the severed heads. But now there were 100 of them. On the top shelf sat the newest head, staring down with a terrible expression. There was a bullet hole in its forehead, and the 100th head was Tom Quick's.